Welcome to the weekly challenge number 12. So today we have a challenge. It's a difficult challenge. What we do is we had some kind of hierarchical structure within the company. So you can see in the input we have your employee, then their corresponding manager ID. So the manager 2, if we go to the 2, then the manager is 1. So you can iterate through the loop. Idea is to produce a final table to indicate the full list and the level of the hierarchy you have. There's two ways to handle this thing. At the moment, because they did up to four, so probably four levels. So it's doable with just keep doing the left joins menu process. Of course, there's no adaptable if you have more than 10, 20. So I probably want to split the video into two parts. The first one, let's just do the easier one with the join. And the second one, we can actually to show if we change into a macro, the iterative macro, how we can perform this. So first thing first, well, let's do first level. We're going to just care about each people's individual manager. We'll have one single data set. We're going to join, do a self join. So the idea is we're going to have looked we're going to join the manager ID. So the auto manager should fill in additional column. On the left-hand side, we are interested in manager. In the right-hand side, we care about ID. Let's just run workflow, see what we have. So for the inner join, we can see for the director, ID is one, manager ID should be four, we'll get a vice president. We may not need, we'll worry about those two later. Vice president, level four, go up, you go to the CEO. That's the right employee. So far, that's good. To check anything that's falling out, so you can see the left join, no one has been joined because CEO is the top level. There's no more manager above the CEO. We still want to make sure that keeping the data set, they don't fall out the list. Analyst, because analyst the lowest, there's no one managed by the analyst. So there's nothing to trace back up. That's done. We're gonna modify some column name to make it easier to follow through the workflow. So the way I would say the first three, the base table, we can continue to keep use. The employee, that's the manager. So let's call that H1. The manager ID, that's the H1 ID. And H1 manager ID. And what we interested, we want to make sure all the stuff is continue to be used. Let's do the inner join first because the inner join has more column in common. Then we join the left, the one that's falling out. There's no more manager. So what we have is we still have our base table on the left hand side, but on the right hand side we can see where the manager, their managers, their ID, and their manager. So we can perceive, we can continue to expand another three columns, constantly increase the column size. So let's just probably rinse and repeat for the process. Again, we have all the things input, but remember, rather than looking at the base table, we're looking for is the H1 table. So the H1 table, we can still use the source table if you need. So you have less column to deselect. You can use the previous one to do self-join. Because we repeat the process, what we have is rather than have the manager ID from previous case, we're looking for H1 manager. Then that should match up to the right hand side. Right hand side should be the ID. We know the root format, let's call it H2. H2 ID, H2 manager ID. If we just add the join, in the join, capture anything that's left out. Let's not worry about the warnings. So CEO, that's fine because additional columns, there's no more higher level for the CEO. For the other people individually, we have director, go to VP. Ooh, that's not correct. I think I joined the wrong column then. Yes, H1 manager ID. That. Ooh, yeah, that's so manager is level ID two to manager one. That's director. Director has a manager four, which is VP the four. Yeah, so we're getting constant tag along additional column. We'll basically just rinse and repeat until we hit in the very end of it. So we're gonna probably repeat two more times because I probably have, yeah, only two more rows has more higher level. Let's just drag the union, continue with the white one. We're gonna drag it as a union. So this time we're looking for what we're looking for. Well, the level two manager, go to the ID, then we distribute level three, H3, H3 ID, H3 manager ID. Union should give it thing. So VP director, I think there's one more level to go. We can just probably just copy paste the part of the workflow. The union go to the left, the data source feed in. We can make the data source, if we run too many lines, we can make the outgoing wireless. So a bit more neat, I guess. Let's align distribute horizontally. That's fun. So once it goes through, the last one should have the last manager, which H3 manager goes screening. What do you have left? Let's see how many columns should I deselect. Da-da-da. Should be. Let's just run it to see the colors correct or not. So we have a bunch of H1s, we have H2s, that'll give you H3. H3 run one more, you should get H4. Left H3. I probably need to deselect some colors. So it should be here. Let me see. Left right join, that's fun. I think or the left will rename the right joins. We'll rename the right joins. We rename the right join. It's H4 rather than H3. So H4. Yeah, because we copy pasted it. H4. H4. Those guys, that's fine. They keep as test. H3, H3, H4. Yeah. Particularly going through the steps, then you will see later why if we start to do with a macro, try to make things more robust. What was good our list? CEO has one, pretty much said no up one. VP has one level, go to CEO. Directors, two more levels. Manager, three levels. You have analyst, go five levels, I think. Analyst itself is bottom level. You have four manager above it. With all the things selected, after look at the answer again, what we care, we just care about each employee and their manager and the corresponding the hierarchy of it. We don't also necessarily need all the ID columns. We just need to care the manager. Then later on, use the position of the column to decide the ranking they have. So we can probably deselect everybody. It's quicker. So what we're interested, we care the base one is employee. Then you have corresponding level, H1 level, H2 level, H3, H4. You have four levels. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting close to tables. Then it's about pivoting the data. So with wide format, we try to go for a longer format. So wide to long transpose. We only care about employee. We want to make sure fix one column facing behaves group by everything else should pivot. Once it's pivoted, let's just probably check analyst. Do we get in 4 rows analyst? Yes. For analyst manager should be 3 rows. Analyst manager should be 3 rows. That's fun. Because we also have edge 1, 2, 3, so at least it's good to keep track of the hierarchy of the data. So we can filter out the missing value. So we're looking for the value is not now. It's not now, that should get rid of null rows. Then we're looking for the hierarchy of the six. Because in the name, you see, we can use formula. Actually, let's try to use formula regex. Actually, use regex to itself. You have a lot more ways to handle it. In the name column, that's H1, H2. We're gonna just pass, because we always, in this case, we only have H and the number. So we can just type H slash digits. If I might find slash digits. We're interested to capture the digits. We don't get this case, we try to pass out. So they call the hierarchy. Do they want string, number, integer? So we can select the last one to be integer type. At the moment, we only have up to 4, so we don't need to worry too much about the situation. Here come data. So we're getting the 10 rows we intended. We pass out the hierarchy. So analyst is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what the result is. The last leg can just drop the message column and we're getting the results. So this is kind of a long way to do it. If the company say you have at least 10 level of management level, then this will be still doable, but a bit complicated. So stay tuned for part 2 of the video. I'll give a try with a macro with a more compact way of doing things. Thanks for watching.